Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zoom into Wine. It's time for the show and your host, Ian Blackburn.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. We have a special presentation tonight. Rachel, good to see you as always. Some of you may recognize Rachel. Before she went to work for Co-Brand years ago, she was involved as a SOM here in Los Angeles, working at the SLS Hotel, and she had a lot of friends there. She got hired by a great importer and distributor called Co-Brand, who I used to work for many, many years ago. And we started doing a couple of little tastings together. And one of Rachel's brands that she's responsible for selling us and representing here in Southern California is the brand of Resonance. And the winemaker is on the Zoom with us tonight. I want to introduce you to Mr. Lage. And
well, I have a little bit of echo, but it is a distance, I assume. So, voilà. Thank you very much, Jan, for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. Bon, alors, and thank you everybody for joining us. I will be very clear from the beginning. I have an accent, so this is an Oregonian accent, of course. Voilà, but don't be surprised. That would be maybe a little bit hard, but I come really from the east, the eastern side of Oregon, far east. So this is why I have this strong accent. So we'll speak a little bit about that. But voilà, thank you again for the opportunity to be with you tonight. Voilà.
Thank you so much. A real pleasure. I hope you don't mind giving us just a little background about how you came to Oregon and sharing that story. That's a great one.
Yes, with pleasure. Voilà. Eh oui. Alors, so thank you again, and we'll speak a little bit about resonance. So resonance, it's a very interesting word, because this is the same in English and in French. As you can see, there is a small detail on the E with the accent, the little bit of French touch, because indeed Resonance is a French project in Oregon, the project of the Maison Louis Jadot. As you can see on the back of Jan, there is a beautiful Bacchus head. That is the logo, the image of the Maison Louis Jadot in the world. So voilà, thank you, Jan, for your support. And indeed, Louis Jadot, the Maison Louis Jadot, was founded, in 1859 in Burgundy. So 1859, the middle of the 19th century, and from this date, Louis Jadot is 100% Burgundy, with wine from Burgundy. Alors that was true until 2013, because in 2013 we had a great opportunity at the Maison Louis Jadot. As you can see, there is a photo with three men. Voilà, there is a photo with three men, and the man at the middle of the photo is Jacques Lardière. Jacques Lardière, was the head winemaker of the Maison Louis Jadot during 42 vintages. Voilà, so 42 vintages only at the Maison Louis Jadot from 1971 to 2012. So imagine a little bit the experience of Jacques Lardière. And Jacques Lardière was officially retired of the Maison Louis Jadot at the end of 2012. And so retire doesn't mean for him, nothing to do. So that was a great opportunity for the Maison Jadot to send Jacques in the Willamette Valley in Oregon with the idea, for the first time, maybe to start an adventure outside of Burgundy. So a big project for the Maison Louis Jadot, a big challenge as well, because Burgundy from 150 years that was okay, but outside of Burgundy, as I told you, we didn't know. So great experience, and the experience was led by Pierre-Henri Gaget, the CEO of the Maison Louis Jadot, the man on the right of the photo, and his son, Thibaut, on the left. Voilà, Thibaut younger, but who traveled with Jacques in the Willamette Valley in spring 13. Voilà, with the idea to find a beautiful location, a nice place to start this project. And so a project with Pinot Noir, because of course, Burgundy means Pinot Noir and Chardonnay a little bit. But the idea to do the same that at the Maison Louis Jadot, to work with Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, not in Burgundy, but in the Willamette Valley. So to use our experience, the experience of the Maison Louis Jadot, in fact, not to try to make a Burgundian wine in the Willamette Valley, but to reveal the terroir of the Willamette Valley using our techniques, our Burgundian techniques, voilà, in this beautiful wine region. So this is this. Oops, sorry. And so I don't know what I am doing, something wrong. And so I don't know why it's not. Voilà.
Clicking. Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, no, but the techniques, between. Voilà. So thank you, and sorry for that. So the map was the key to why the Willamette Valley, why Oregon, because as you can see on this map, this is almost the same latitude. And so the Willamette Valley is a beautiful location. This is what you will see. The Willamette Valley, in fact, is very close to the ocean, to the Pacific Ocean. And so that gives an influence. That gives something special. And it's, in fact, a valley between two mountains, the Cascade and the Coast Range. And so the middle, the valley, is a very fertile location. So with a lot of agriculture, with a lot of fruits cultivation, and especially very good for the vineyard, for vines, and very good to plant the vines, because the story of the Willamette Valley is still very, very recent. It's still new, and the first people who planted Chardonnay started that at the end of the 60s, of 1960, end of the 60s, beginning of the 70s. And so this is what was exciting for us, because it's still a new wine region, very, very different from the story of Burgundy. The Pinot Noir in Burgundy was planted 2,000 years ago. So we know a lot of things about Burgundy now. So I will return to that. Voila. And so what is interesting, this is a little bit to discover the expression of the Pinot in the Willamette Valley. The resonance came from a beautiful vineyard that Jacques discovered, Resonance Vineyard. That was the name of the vineyard, and we decided to keep the name of this beautiful location, as you can see, to develop a new brand, a new name in the Willamette Valley. It's not Louis Jadot Oregon, it's Resonance. A lot of meaning with Resonance, because this is the sound, this is the echo between the Willamette Valley and Burgundy. So 1859, the foundation of the Maison Jadot. You know what was interesting? The same year, that was the foundation of the state of Oregon. So a nice sign, to the adventure. 2013, the beginning of Resonance, and 2018, the inauguration of our winery, and then 2019, the tasting room. Bon, I will show you some photo of Resonance, because finally this is the best way for you to travel a little bit in the Willamette Valley. Voilà, so with our facility, with the winery, this is very important. The winery, this is the tool, the technical tool to make the wine, and to make the wine with a Burgundian approach. Voilà, as you can see, the barrel. We'll speak a little bit about that later when we will test the wine. But This is important. And the tasting room, that is different. That is something we don't know in Burgundy, because in Burgundy, you test in the cellar. You test, with a sieve and a glass, and we don't have a beautiful facility to speak about our wine, to speak about our project. And this is what we decided to build at the top of a hill with a beautiful view on the Costrange mountain. The tasting room. That's when we'll be able to travel, maybe you will have the opportunity to visit. Of course, Resonance Vineyard, I will tell you later, but this is a small vineyard planted from 1981, a beautiful spot, but we had the opportunity to purchase a property near to Resonance Vineyard, next to Resonance Vineyard, 350 acres, and where we are planting some Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And all our vineyards are certified organic. This is important for us to reveal the diversity, the complexity of the location, of the terroir. I will show you some photo about the team, and that will be the opportunity for me to let you know a little bit who I am, because I didn't speak about that, but that was the introduction. So of course, Resonance, this is a team. This is a link with the French team of the Maison Louis Jadot, where I worked as assistant technical director, so the assistant of the head winemaker of Jacques Lardière, and then the new Jacques Lardière, Frédéric Barnier, who is now the winemaker of the Maison Louis Jadot from the retirement of Jacques. So I worked with both of them, and that this is always a great experience, we can do that. There we go. To work with a guy like Jacques Lardière, again with 42 vintages. So I was born in Burgundy, in fact in the south of Burgundy, in Mâconnais. Maybe do you know Mâconnais? This is where we produce the Pouilly-Fuissé. So I was born in the heart of the Pouilly-Fuissé appellation, at the border between the Burgundy and the Beaujolais. Very, very beautiful location, beautiful wine region. And if I tell you that, this is because for me it's very similar between Beaujolais, Mâconnais, and Willamette Valley. We have the hillside, we have the trees, the oak trees. We have the same elevation, almost the same elevation. So that was for me a nice connection. When we arrived with my family in 2017, that was really something, that remind me my region. And so I grew up in a family in Burgundy who owns a small vineyard. So from my first age, I worked a little bit in the vineyard, but without the idea one day to work in the wine industry. That was really not my goal. I have a great passion for history, and that was my first project, and so I started studies in law, in public law in France. I have a master's degree in law, and I had to change my project, my career, because my first idea was to do a career in the French army, a good link between the history, the tradition, and something very modern. But I had to stop that due to personal issue. And I worked with my uncle who managed the family estate, 1 year in the vineyard and the cellar. And that was for me a revelation, something that I loved. And so I decided to start new studies, in enology and viticulture. And so I was graduated with a master's degree in enology, the national diploma of enologist in the Institut Jules Guyot of Dijon in Burgundy. And I discovered the Maison de Négoce during an internship. The Maison de Négoce in Beaune, this is really something important. This is maybe for me, a good resume of what is Burgundy. So really, the tradition coming from the centuries, coming from the terroir, coming from the work of the monks in the vineyard, to select the best spot, the best vineyard. So a lot of tradition, and at the same time, some beautiful wineries where, like at the Maison Louis Jadot, we are able to make 150 wines per vintage with only one grape variety, two grapes variety if we speak about the white as well, but with only Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. 150 different vineyards in Burgundy. And when you have the opportunity to visit the Burgundy, you understand that it's very small. Voilà. So this is something that I love. And so I started to work with the Maison Louis Jadot in 2011. That was really for me a great experience. Working, with all these different clima. So clima in Burgundy, this is a place, a location, a vineyard, only one, a terroir. And so, And step by step, I learned a lot from Jacques, from Frédéric, Barnier, from the Gaget family, who lead with brio, the Maison Jadot. And in 2016, in fact, they proposed me to move far from Burgundy, in the Willamette Valley. In fact, to work at Resonance. I was the first employee at Resonance, and when I arrived, we had nothing, no facility. So a great adventure, very exciting, because that was the idea to start with almost nothing. And so a great opportunity. Voilà. And now I make the wine in Burgundy, still with Jacques Lardière, who is our consultant winemaker. But Jacques, of course, is based in Burgundy. And I am based in the Willamette Valley. Voilà. So a long presentation, but maybe we have to speak about the wine a little bit.
Yeah, let's get a little wine going on for everybody. I wanted to actually start off with a little bit of a toast because there's some things that happen in life that kind of carve your path, and I wanted to toast to you and your relationship with Jadot. It was Louis Jadot that helped me get deeper into the wine world with my job with Co-Brand. And Co-Brand's an incredible organization, and we have Rachel on the Zoom with us as well. So it's really great the way the wine world works, and how if you apply yourself and you follow your passion, and you just keep trusting good people. And that's what happened, and that's how I got to Louis Jadot, and that's why we're here tonight. So I want to thank everybody for joining me and learning about this beautiful new brand. And cheers, everyone. Hope you enjoy the Pinot as much as I do. Cheers.
Cheers.
I've been watching this miracle in Oregon for a while, and I've been there a number of times. It's a beautiful place, and the attraction for the Burgundians, if everybody doesn't know, if you live in Burgundy, it would be next to impossible to buy a vineyard in Burgundy. There's just no more land to buy, and the land that's there that's planted is so valuable that it takes generations to afford it. And so Oregon really is a great new frontier for many of the Burgundian houses, and that's why we have so many there. It's not just that it's a great Pinot place, it's just there's nowhere else for them to grow and expand and diversify in Burgundy. And so Oregon is a very nice parallel, and there are a lot of French brands, not just Jadot, that are now in Burgundy. So it's really kind of a cool story how the French are now buying land here. And you see it also happening in the Napa Valley. Some of the Bordeaux houses are investing in Napa. And so it's a really interesting moment for that. And I also wanted to let you know that Louis Jadot is actually owned by 3 women, American women. They purchased, it started many years ago when they started investing in Louis Jadot, and it was probably not completed until the early 1990s that the ladies, the daughters of Rudy Koff, were basically the owners of Louis Jadot. And so it's a wonderful story of how things work out financially in the wine world, but because of that, Louis Jadot is now one of, if not the most imported French brand into America, and it's got a lot of different faces, but they only make 3 wines: Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Beaujolais Gamay. They just make 150 different versions of them. So Guillaume, it's great to have you and to be able to taste the wines. I know you have do you have more to show us on the PowerPoint? I could give that back to you.
So just some information about the wine itself. So but
cool.
we can, if you want, I can show you quickly, and then we return to the shared.
Sure. We'll taste the 18 first.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And this is tell us about the 18, and I'll give you back the PowerPoint.
Okay, perfect.
You might have to bring it back up again, but I will make you the host again.
Wait, you have to.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Yann. Alors, let me. Voilà. So the Willamette Valley Pinot Noir. So this is the blue label. This is a very important wine for us, because if you want, this is a blend of different locations, different vineyards inside the Willamette Valley, with about 50% that are coming from our own estate, certified organic, from Yamil Carlton, Dundee Hill Savier, and another 50% from partners, from partnership, because this is one of the power, maybe the tradition of the Maison Louis Jadot, c'est to develop relationship with the local farmer, grower, to reveal the diversity, the complexity of a wine region. And this is what we are trying to do with the Willamette Valley. It's not only one location, it's different location, different beautiful vineyard, premium vineyard that we select for us to reveal a little bit the complexity of the Pinot Noir in the Willamette Valley. And we are tasting the 2018. This is a beautiful vintage. Really, a lot of journalists, producers said maybe an outstanding vintage, 18, but this is really a vintage with a lot of harmony. I think this is a good word to describe the vintage. So as you can taste, this is a Pinot with a lot of energy, a lot of fruits. This is really one of the particularity of the Willamette Valley, of the Pinot in the Willamette Valley, a lot of red fruits, of black fruits, but with a certain elegance. It's not something very full-bodied. This is something with a nice acidity. And for us, this is the key. A little bit like the Pinot Noir in Burgundy. Remember the map, remember the latitude, this is almost the same. So even if the soil is different, even if the elevation is a little bit different, even if we are closer to the ocean than in Burgundy, we have some connection, some similarities between the Pinot in the Willamette Valley and between the Pinot in Burgundy. And this is very, very interesting, About the winemaking, clearly we do the same at Resonance than we do at the Maison Louis Jadot in Burgundy. So long maceration, and we pick the grapes by hand, then we sort at the winery just to keep the best part of the grapes, and we destem, and then we have a long maceration, about 4 weeks of maceration in tanks. As you know, to obtain the color and to obtain the structure of the wine, and the color, the anthocyane, and the structure, the tannins, we need a maceration between the skin, where are these anthocyane and tannins, and the juice. And so, depending of the length, depending of what you do, you extract more tannins or more color or more complexity. Voilà. And this is, for us, the key is a long maceration, and then aging in barrels, in French oak barrels, during about 15 months for this wine, not to bring too much oak, toast flavors, but more to bring a complexity, because we have an exchange between the wine and the oak, and so this is very interesting and very important. Voilà. So this is the Willamette Valley again. The idea to express the complexity of the Pinot Noir from the wine region and not from one single vineyard. Voilà.
Gorgeous. Well, I've been tasting quite a few 18s, and it does appear to be quite an exceptional vintage. There's a number of very famous houses that, with their 2018s, made it onto the top 100 wines of the world. And so you could see that some vintages kind of rise to that occasion. And I think this 18 is beautiful and a very good value proposition for people that like Oregon Pinot Noir. And so we got started with this wine, and when we decided to put this event together, it gave me an opportunity to grab the single vineyard as well.
Yeah, and thank you for that. Just to finish with the Willamette Valley, and this is maybe the most visible wine of resonance, because we produce the blend every year. And so this blend, the Willamette Valley, was the 2017, so the previous vintage, was in the top 100 of the wine spec just a few weeks ago at the rank 19. So we were very honored by the wine spec, and this is for us, a good energy to continue to try to reveal all the complexity of this beautiful wine region that is the Willamette Valley.
That's fantastic. I did not actually know that, but I'm looking at the top 100 right now, and I see it right there. Number 19, 93 points with the 2017. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. But of course, this is important for us, for resonance, but for the first time, we had 7 wine of Oregon in the top 100 of the Wine Spectator at the end of 2012. I think this is really a great sign for the future, for the potential really of the Willamette Valley, because for me, clearly in the world today, this is one of the wine region with a great potential. So the terroir is really amazing, complex, but it's still a very new wine region. And so, to understand, to learn more about this complexity, we need to plant more and to select, the best location, the best terroir. And this is what the people did in Burgundy from centuries. Now, as you explained, Jan, everything is planted, and we know exactly where we are able to produce a premium wine, a top quality wine, like a Grand Cru, like a Premier Cru, or where it's a little bit less complex, but with a beautiful expression of the fruits, like a village appellation. Enfin bon, voilà. And some village have a better reputation than other. But that was the work of generation and generation of farmer, of grower. In the Willamette Valley, remember, the first people who planted Pinot Noir, that was in 67, 68, and there were only 3, So now it's growing, but slowly. And what is important in the Willamette Valley, this is a little bit that the size of the winery. It's still some farm, you know. It's not huge wineries, and this is a little bit like in Burgundy. It's different from other wine region, and this is what we like with Burgundy. This is really the in connection with the environment, with the beautiful region that is the Willamette Valley. Voilà. So,
beautiful. I posted the definition I found of resonance from a chemistry standpoint. You can almost hear the way the word just works perfectly and into the wine environment, and there's the sound implications and the echo effect and so many different definitions of the word, but it's just such a wonderful story. And I loved hearing the story how Jacques walked into this vineyard and just felt like this was home. He knew that this was a spot that he loved, and the fact that it already had, some time, buying time is really, really expensive. So he was able to buy a vineyard that's already planted and existing and getting it started, and that really helps. And we'll move now into the 2015 wine and be able to taste a wine that's got a little time in the bottle, but is also the current vintage for the estate. And that's how they'll stagger the releases to let the estate wine get the time that it needs in the bottle.
Indeed. And so thank you for mentioning the story of Jacques, because this is true. This is this vineyard, Resonance Vineyard. So the first vineyard that the Maison Louis Jadot decided to purchase in the Willamette Valley. And as I told you, Jacques Lardière, a young retired man, was able to visit the Willamette Valley in 2013. And so he visited different vineyards with the idea to find something beautiful, but not only beautiful by the landscape, beautiful with the quality, the potential of the vineyard in link with the environment. And so when he visited this vineyard, Resonance Vineyard, he felt an energy. And maybe some of you met Jacques or not, but when you met Jacques, you understand what that means. Really, it's more than just a location. You have to understand what is under or fit when you visit a vineyard as well. And Resonance Vineyard had really something that express a complexity, that express a great terroir. And so that the first vintage was 2013 that Jacques made. So 2015 is the third vintage. So same approach about the winemaking than the first wine that we tested, but from only one vineyard. One, we say a single vineyard, a beautiful vineyard. A vineyard planted from 1981. Okay, so for the Willamette Valley, it's an old vineyard, almost 40 years old, with only Pinot Noir, about 19 acres of Pinot Noir. Very important for us because it's ungrafted, unrooted. So no grafting. So this is a direct link between the plant and the roots. So that gives really the expression of the location, the expression of the geology. And this is on one of the oldest soil of the valley, marine sedimentary soil, so about 40 million years old, when the ocean was still here and deposit a lot of sediments. So million of years after million of years, we had layers of sediment. And so that gives a complexity, that gives a minerality, the expression of the rock, of these sediments. So this is complex. Voilà, some view of the vineyard, because it's more important finally than my blabla. Voilà, you can discover Resonance Vineyard. It's really gorgeous. The mountain that you see on the back, this is the Coast Range mountain. So on the other side, this is the Pacific Ocean. From where is a photo. It's about 40 miles. So really a very big impact of the ocean, but the mountain is like a rain shadow. So very important during the season, the maturation. The vineyard from the other side, with the tree lines at the top. This is the same tree that you can see on the bottle. That was the true photo that we take. Voilà, some blocks of the vineyard after the harvest. This is really a beautiful vineyard. Voilà. So the wine that you are tasting, the 2015, is coming from this vineyard only. 2015, a beautiful vintage, a lot of concentration with 2015. So you can test the concentration, and even if it's 15, the wine is still very young, very fresh, with a nice energy. The potential for this wine, 15 or 20 more years without issue, a little bit like in Burgundy. And you know what is interesting, 2015, in Burgundy, we had a little bit the same profile of wine with the same concentration. So when we say that sometimes we have connection between Burgundy and Oregon, 2015 is really a vintage connected between the two wine regions. So voilà. Alors we had about 16 months of aging in barrels for this wine. As you can test, we test a little bit the oak, the flavors of the oak, some spicy touch as well coming from the oak, but not only. The oak bring a complexity, but you can test here a lot of black fruits. This is every year the typicity of Resonance Vineyard, the cherry, the blackberries. This is really an expression of Resonance Vineyard. Some delicate spices that express the wine, and flower touch every year, especially when the wine is young. And today a little bit less, but we have some violet flower notes, even if we don't see the violet flower in the vineyard every year. So this is what we can describe as a terroir. Alors a terroir, it's more than just the location. It's more than just the soil. The soil is important, of course. This is one of the main factors of the terroir, but it's more than that. This is the exposure. For this vineyard, it's south, east, western exposure, so really complex. This is the elevation as well, the terroir, so between 350 and 500 feet of elevation for this vineyard. And more than that, the terroir, it's the work of the people, the work of the human people on this place, years after years, that help to reveal, again, one more time, the expression of a somewhereness. Voilà. This is the terroir. And this is what we are trying to express in this wine. Voilà.
Thank you. So when we smell this 15 vintage and we move into the second wine, what about it are you discovering now that it's been in bottle for 5 years?
It's me, sorry. It's more for me. It's starting to be very harmonious. It's starting to be present. You can test the minerality as well. I can describe that. Something a little bit iodic that you test at the end of your palate. This is the expression of the sediments of the location. Something that it's long. It's not very full-bodied. It's elegant. It's delicate. It's fine, but it's long. It's long in the palate, and this is because the wine is coming. The wine is starting to be very open, and you can note, even if we have a nice concentration, as I told you, you can note the acidity. And for us, this is the key. This is really the key. All the wine at resonance, it's about 13.5% of alcohol. Alors, it's what is it? It's natural, but it's enough. We don't need more to keep this acidity, because when we pick the grapes, we pick at a certain balance between the potential of alcohol, the level of sugar, and the acidity. And if we pick too late, we can have more alcohol, like 14, 14.5, it's possible. But immediately, the acidity is lower. And if we don't have this acidity, this Jacques would say vibration, eh bien, it's not the same. Oui, c'est ça, the energy. Tiens, Jacques will show you. You can turn in this way, or you can turn in the opposite way. You will have not exactly the same expression of that. Enfin voilà, the vortex is very important. But the acidity is the key today to have a wine alive like that, full of energy. So this is really important. And so voilà, alors you can taste the fruits a little bit more ripe now, the cherry, voilà, very open, but it's still very young. It's still very young. So this is a good sign. This is really a good sign.
It's got the most magical nose. I just love the way it has so much complexity, and there's an elevated level of power here, and I really think it's going to evolve. For a generation, it's going to be a really beautiful wine, and I love the way that the persistence, the resonance of this wine just continues to kind of, on the finish, you can just feel the length and the intensity. It's just really, really gorgeous. And it was before we even agreed to do this, I kind of boldly tried to tell people 10 wines that made a big impression on me last year, and this was one of my top 10 wines of the year last year.
Thank you.
And I just really believe it's a gorgeous, gorgeous Pinot, and everyone I've tasted it with has the same kind of wow factor on it. So
indeed, and you know what is interesting, because with a Pinot like that, with a Pinot with a lot of energy, with a nice harmony between the tannins that are present, between the aromatic complexity and the acidity, to pair with food, it's very easy. So you can try, but you can pair finally with a lot of dishes, of meat, but more than that, and so voilà. This is very interesting for that as well, because the wine is vibrant, the wine is present, and everything is even if it's present, it's delicate. So this is very, very interesting to try to pair with a lot of meat, but you can try with lamb, for example. This is perfect. Of course, with beef, so with a tenderloin, this is magic. This is what I had for the lunch today, and I opened the bottle just to make sure. Alors something interesting as well, c'est don't hesitate to open a little bit before your tasting. Before that help always, to bring a little bit of oxygen with the tannins of the Pinot. It's always, alors you don't need 48 hours before, and you don't need a decanter, but just few minutes before. This is always better. Voilà. So,
Art,
it's good
how's it treating you, Art? I see you. I'm sorry, Guillaume.
No, but c'est because I speak a lot. That was enough, Voilà.
Let's. Art's drinking quite a bit of it, so I wanted to get his feedback, and he was agreeing with everything you were saying.
It's Ian. Thanks. We were talking about the two wines, and you went from the 18 to the 15. And as a buyer, who, as you know, I buy quite a bit. it's always fun to know how well it's going to age.
Yeah.
Especially when you get private collections and when they have a comma in your private collection and you can't drink it fast enough. And same thing when you're buying for a wine list. You want to know how long it's going to age. It's a great example of what's going to happen in the glass.
Yeah, sure.
I made the mistake. We did not open the wines early enough because we were having dinner, and absolutely should have, because it's opening in the glass. Absolutely, it's phenomenal right now and getting better and better as you go.
Yeah, I actually poured some guests from my bottle last night, and we delivered those this morning. And I'm drinking from that same lot, and there's absolutely no fade. You know, it's been open for a complete day, and I suspect that it'll be delicious tomorrow too. So that's also kind of a little bit of a sign as to how the wine will age, is that how it progresses being open in the bottle over a day, 2 days. And that will really kind of give you some kind of a look at how long it will live in the bottle too. But Art is a general manager of a great country club out in Glendora. And we went to college together back at Cal Poly. And he is one of the leading, in fact, he's on the cover of a magazine this month, Art. I saw that.
I'll find it for you.
Country Club Digest or something like that. Really cool, Art. That's great. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks. One of the other things, and Ian and I'm at the house, I'm a big wine glass geek. And so we drink a lot of Pinot here at the house. I'll bet we have 6 different stems for Pinot. So we were going back and forth. What's winning, the Riedel Extreme or the regular Riedel? What do you got there? The Riedel Performance is for the 15, absolutely. But interesting, for the 18, they're I don't know which version of the Riedel this was. It's the restaurant series.
This is it's a good glass. Yeah, I agree.
Awesome. How are the Chaboyas enjoying it?
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. How's the wine
We
treating?
just got back from Hawaii. The wine's awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah, I noticed you were gone for a while. I did.
Like a month. Yeah.
Good for you.
We might move.
Well, I don't blame you.
So you need to figure out that shipping to Hawaii.
What I do is I just gather a bunch of it, and I'll either sail over with it or I'll fly your plane when.
Yeah, our plane.
There's big problems out there. We can manage them all. Jess, are you doing good with the Pinot tonight? Are you enjoying?
Oh yes, absolutely. It actually is very reminiscent of a trip that we took back in May of 2019 to Willamette for Wendy's last birthday in her 30s. So it's just nostalgic, and this is very on par, and I'm loving it. Thank you.
Awesome. Wendy Caldwell, is that your friend? Nice to make the acquaintance there. Thanks for inviting your friends. And forever 29, Wendy. Forever 29.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I hope you guys are both enjoying it. The wine's wearing well on me. Anybody have any questions for our winemaker, Guillaume? Any question you ever wanted to ask about wine? Lisa, how about you?
This Lisa has no questions because I'm drinking an old red Burgundy from a couple weeks ago. I opened up.
Okay.
I've got to keep up. I've been buying more than I'm drinking.
You are, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
You single-handedly took most of the silent auction at the Stars California. Thank you for doing that.
I gave up on that legend. I stopped at like 220. I'm like, okay, I can't.
When you get outbid, you're raising money, so we really appreciate it. The auction did very well, so thank you. The Cook family, are you enjoying? And do you have any comments or questions?
Might help to unmute.
It
No,
does.
we're really enjoying these. These are really great.
Beautiful.
We had them with steelhead trout for dinner, and it's been really good.
That's a great call. I love having it's red flesh, right? Or steelhead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Red flesh fish with this wine.
Salmon.
Yeah, basically salmon, huh?
Yes, excellent pairing.
Awesome. That's
We need to go to Oregon.
Yep. And our niece lives in Portland, so we have a lot of good reasons to go there and visit the winery.
With a great pleasure. With a great pleasure. This is really a region that if you have the opportunity to visit the Willamette Valley, you will not forget, because there is really a soul. And of course, if you are in the Willamette Valley, please go to Carlton, and I will be very happy to host you at Resonance to show you the beauty of the location, to speak a little bit French-English with you, and to share a glass of Pinot Noir, of course.
We'll look forward to doing that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Well, let me know when you're going. I'll make sure you guys get in touch.
Yeah.
Great.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Are the wineries open in Oregon? I mean, because of COVID-19, are there restrictions on the wineries right now?
Alors, yes, this is a good question. So by chance, the wineries and the tasting room are open, but without tasting inside the building. So this is only outside. But, we don't have the sun of California in Oregon, but we have a lot of solution, to cover. It's more confidential tasting, of course, but all the tasting rooms are open. Yes. So, well, yeah. With a lot of new heating system, with a column like that, so to try to be a little bit more comfortable. The governor of Oregon is speaking every week, and it looks they are starting a plan of reopening. So they just reopened this weekend some restaurants on the coast, and it looks like the numbers are better now in Oregon. I don't want to speak too quickly. I know the situation is trying in California and especially in Los Angeles, but that was a little bit less difficult in the Willamette Valley. This is a country, the density of population is really less important. And so that was important to keep the tasting room open. So voilà, this is what is happening. But it's not yet a normal situation. Of course.
It's good that you have as many trees as people, and that will help. We probably need to learn that lesson again, and maybe that will be the next step for preventing future problems, or maybe as much beach in Hawaii as yeah. Wallace, how's the wine treating you guys? Wallace and Dan?
I like it. We don't know anything about Oregon wine beyond that we like it a lot. So this has been a fun opportunity to learn a little bit more about why.
Cool. Well, it's fun because I did a couple of different things today. I've been on Zoom almost all day. We had a really great experience earlier today. It was Zinfandel Advocates and Producers today, and I was very honored to be a guest. Host of a session, probably one of the greatest sessions I could host. Had 4 legends on the Zoom talking Zinfandel, and then I did a class this morning on Pinot Noir, and we went all over the world and we were tasting great Pinot. And I did sneak in this Pinot into that session too. And everyone we tasted Burgundy, we tasted New Zealand, we tasted California, and then we hit this wine and everyone just lit up. So I knew we had a winner. And so congratulations, this wine is beautiful. And everyone that's on the Zoom tonight, we have these wines available on the website, and you get an extra discount. I'll give a link. If you go into the website through the link, you'll find that discount. If you can't seem to figure out how to get it to work, or it doesn't work for you, I will make sure you get the discount later. But it's a great way to secure these wines at probably the best price outside of Oregon, or maybe even inside of Oregon. I'm not sure. It's a really good price. So we'll be able to deliver that starting Tuesday. We deliver every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday right now. And we also just have a couple of other things that are coming up that I want to make sure I get a chance to tell you about, because we've been working hard, and there's about to be a number of new things that we're going to announce, but I'm going to save that for a later moment, because I'm going to show you our upcoming calendar, which is fun, filled with some fun stuff. I'm going to be talking to an importer of wines from Portugal on Wednesday, and we've got just killer little small producers of Vinho Verde, really high quality, and wines from Alentejo. And then we're doing a thing with a Bordeaux importer on Saturday next week, blind Bordeaux tasting. And we're going to take a guess at which part of Bordeaux they're coming from, and learn about the smell and taste of the place and some of the influences of each of the different appellation. Another great Pinot experience will be with my friend Jim Fox, who is a graduate of our Learn About Wine school many years ago, in fact, and that he loved wine so much that he went out and started his own wine brand called Patiné, and that means to have skated in French. And he's a former LA hockey player for the LA Kings, and he's currently the voice of the LA Kings as a commentator when you watch the hockey games. And he's got one of the top winemakers in California, Mike Smith. And so Patiné is making some really good Pinots, and we'll have that whole group on February 10th. It's going to be really exciting. Another very good friend of mine is a comedian named Sarah Halstead. And Sarah actually used to sell wine with me. She was the East Coast and I was the West Coast, and she left her wine sales career to become a comedian, an actress. She's been in movies, and we're going to have a night of comedy and rosé in celebration of Valentine's. And she's still maintains a wine job in marketing, working with Lucien Albrecht. And so she's got some great things to say. She's super wine passionate. She has her own wine podcast, in fact. And so we're going to love our time with Sarah Halstead on Friday night. It's a special Valentine's session, because every Valentine's we do a wine, cheese, and chocolate series. And I will say that the one cool thing about Zoom is that it allowed me to start teaching everywhere. And I have people signed up for wine, cheese, and chocolate. And yes, our friend in Japan, we can send stuff to Japan, but we cannot send the cheese and the chocolate. That would probably be a little challenging getting it through customs. But the wines, we can always send full bottles. I just can't send the little tasting kits. So anything you want to do, we could do that. But we do have people for wine, cheese, and chocolate in like 15 different states that are joining me for this weekend, and that's really exciting. And we're having fun with the Zoom product. We have Cult Wines on the 17th, California Ultra Luxury Table Wine. These are all super high-end, 97 points and higher, and a really great value for you to be able to get in there and try some of these amazing wines. 98, 99 points for Paletta Walker, 97 for Scarecrow. So really fun to share those, because these are kind of new, hot brands. Some of you probably haven't tried before, but they're definitely ones to learn about. They're the next investment in Napa Valley. Chardonnay wise, we go with Kongsgaard Census versus Sabraja, and kind of a really fun night of Chardonnay tasting with my friend chef Bob Blummer. and he's going to talk about risotto, and we're going to have a little recipe for everybody. And then Rhone Warriors is coming up, and in fact, it might sell out. So we have some really advantageous pricing until the 1st of February, and people have been jumping on it. And the bottle kits are almost gone, and now we have the tasting kits. You can get all 3 events for $99 delivered in California. So if you want to participate, it doesn't get any cheaper. And as the event gets closer, we do raise the price, try to incentivize you to jump on and to sell that puppy out. There's only so much wine that we get for the event, and it's going fast. We're doing a really fun Sancerre tasting, both white and rouge, in the 3rd of March. And then we finish up our calendar with March 6th and Rams Legend. Absolutely, when I was a kid, this was like the athlete. Everybody had a Ferragamo Rams jersey. Vince Ferragamo is going to be on the Zoom with me. We're going to talk about Brunello di Montalcino. And we're going to taste 4 of them blind, and we're going to, talk about it and have fun with the idea. And I hope you guys enjoy. Well, we thank you, Guillaume, for being our guest tonight and for sharing us, allowing us to visit Willamette Valley. And this is our way of kind of zooming into the Willamette and learning about your beautiful place. It's a gorgeous vineyard, an amazing exposition. The wines reflect that, and I can't wait to get up there myself. And if anybody wants to go anywhere in wine, I'd love to have you hit me up. If I can't help you, I will pass you on to someone who can, but we would love to send you anywhere you want to go and help you see some of the great people in each and every spot. So thanks for being my guest tonight. And thanks for being here. Everyone enjoy the Pinot. I'll be sending out the special gift bag email in just a moment. And cheers, everyone. Thank you, Guillaume.
Merci. Merci beaucoup. Merci à vous. Ah, bah, super. Et alors, en français, c'est
magnifique.
Santé, hein? Santé.
Santé.
À votre santé.
Voilà, à votre santé, exactement.
Votre santé.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Yann, for the great event.
Wonderful, Guillaume. Wonderful time. Thank you, Lisa.
Merci. Et à bientôt in Oregon. Hein?
À bientôt. À tout à l'heure.
Thank you, Lisa.
Hey, thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Ian.
Very well done.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Guillaume.
I'm gonna go try some beekeeper now.
All right, go get in there, buddy. Look at that black Sears. All right.
And thank you for your patience for the wine. Huh?
It's great. The wine's drinking great, Guillaume. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
A bientôt.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.